to the channel. Today, in kind of honor of last Thursday being National Appreciate Your Goats Day, I believe it was, we're going to be making some goat treats. I figured it would be a fun thing to do. Since there's not too much going on in the homestead, I figured we'll bring it inside. So today we're going to be making some simple goat muffins. I'll kind of explain how much and what we're doing as we go, and I will put the ingredients and recipe in the description just in case anybody would like to try some goat treats. After this, I will put in a video at the end of Badger and Morgan trying them, and we'll see if they are a yay or nay on the goat's behalf. So to start out with, just to list some of our ingredients, I've got my little pad set up over here to make sure that I stay on track. So we start out with our oats, and you can use just simple like oatmeal oats, you know, simple quick oats, anything that works. You can use true goat oats. Oats are oats. We then have our 2 tablespoons of molasses. We have some crushed peppermints, some flour, brown sugar, and a shredded apple. Now it looks pretty bad because this was one of our apples that nobody really got around to eating. I don't believe the goats would mind, and of course we have some raisins. So to start out with, you mix 3 cups of oats with 2 cups of water, and I have the water right over here. Cup of water, 2 cups of water, and we'll add just a little extra just to be sure. And then of course you'll mix your molasses, and now I should probably grab a mixing spoon for this, as it does get sticky, and personally, I just don't care for that texture. Let's see. Let's get every little bit we can at this bowl. There we are. Got a good bit out of that. And just like that, you'll kind of mix. And it's gonna look funky, but I mean, it's for the goats, so it's not going to matter so much. Let's see. The biggest part is just to make sure that it is as evenly mixed as you can. It is molasses and oats, so hi love. You can't hide. All right. So that is about as mixed as we are going to get it. You get to watch me fumble around with this for a minute. And now we're going to pop this in the microwave for 2 minutes, and that's just to get the molasses a little more melted. Right. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and pop this open. Ignore the mess. Who doesn't have a messy microwave? And we'll pop that in for 2 minutes, and we will be back in. All right, so we went ahead and got this out of the microwave. Careful, if your bowl, even if it is microwavable, it still might be a little bit hot. I used a towel to grab it. It has cooled down a little bit. After this, you can just kind of mix it a little bit more, because you're gonna have some edges, especially since I used a glass bowl, that will probably be a little harder on the sides. But you can just kind of mix it one more time and give it a good stir. My husband behind me trying to sneak a Dr. Pepper. Mm-hmm. So after this, you will then add your shredded apple. You can do, I'm doing 1 apple, and it was a decent sized, I mean, it's a decent sized apple. We'll just go ahead and add this in. That's a slimy texture. All right, then you'll add your 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and you sprinkle that. You don't want to add too much since it's not part of their daily diet. Let's see, and then your crushed peppermints. Now I just went and got some Signature Select peppermints, nothing fancy. Threw them in a Ziploc bag and used the same molasses jar to crush them. And you'll kind of stomp them in, you'll roll them. I mean, whatever works. Just get them dusted fairly fine. Otherwise you'll end up with chunks of peppermint that probably won't be too appeasing to them. So Morgan and Badger, our current goats, have never had these treats before. I have made these treats with an old friend back in middle school, and she had some Nubians and some Nigerian dwarf goats that absolutely loved these treats. I mean, they would go nuts and nearly try to assault you every time you walked into the pen with these treats. It was honestly very fun. All right, so once you get this mixed in, we still got a little bit more to mix in. From here, let me scrape this off. Woo, I'm getting it all over the counter. Thankfully, I cleaned. Always have kind of a side dish, a dish towel on handy. After this, you can add food coloring if you'd like. We try to, I'll kind of cover it in my next video. We try to stay away from food colorings, and it's part of the reason why we chose homesteading, or chose to start pursuing homesteading, is because of some of the effects food dyes has on our family. But you are more than welcome to add food coloring if you'd like to make them a little more playful. If you don't, the last two ingredients are going to be your 3 tablespoons of flour, and you can use all-purpose flour, wheat flour, just flour. I mean, use coconut flour if you so please. Let's see, and we're just gonna spread that. And then of course, now they recommend just a small box of raisins. I didn't have those on handy. Not a lot of people in my family actually like raisins, so it's not a popular treat around the house. So I just grabbed that, and I'll just kind of eyeball this, get what seems kind of fair for the amount. I forgot how sticky raisins are. All right, that's probably enough, and we can always add more if we want. Let's get this mixed in. I should have gotten a bigger bowl. Did not realize how big this was going to be. It's okay, love. I don't need to do more dishes. It's all right. We're almost done anyway. I'm about to put these in the muffin tin. Right. So it'll get a little harder to mix as it goes on, and oh my god, it looks so appetizing. God, I hope the goats love this. They're currently outside on their lines like usual, just eating grass, and it's always funny when you have them kind of on a set line. We try to move them around the yard as much as possible, but sometimes they'll go a week or two with, you know, kind of the same surface area to graze on. And after a while, you'll start to notice the definitive line of how far they have stretched their little necks to mow down the yard. And it gets kind of funny. All right, so I believe that is about as mixed as we are going to get it. So after this is the fun part. Whew. So I wrote everything down because in the next video, I'm sure I'll cover it as well. I cannot stay on a singular linear thought, and I can't English either. I'll scoot that over there. I bounce around a lot, so I wrote everything down to make sure that I stayed on track, had recipe quantities, and could, you know, actively put them not only in the video, in the description as well. So we're gonna now put this back in the microwave for 2 more minutes. While we're doing that, you can use an oven. We're gonna go ahead and use the toaster oven if I can fit my muffin tins into them, just because it does get hot using the oven, and I don't really feel like heating up the whole house when it is already 100 degrees outside. So I will pop this in the microwave and I will get right back to you. All right, 2 minutes is up. Woo. Towels, like I said, it's well, it looks like something. All right, so now that we've got it out of the microwave, used our towels to grab it, it has taken a second to cool down a little bit. Since my goats are on the smaller end, excuse me, we are gonna go ahead and use these little itty bitty muffin tins. I mean, they're, you know, hand for reference. You can fit two little muffins in your hand. But since they're smaller, now these muffins will not rise in the oven. We have gone ahead and preheated our little toaster oven for 375 just to get it on the warmer side. What we're gonna do here is we're just, of course, going to scoop all of this into our muffin tins. I can only fit one at a time. And you're gonna bake these for, I'll go ahead and start scooping. You're gonna bake these for about 15-20 minutes, or until they start getting a little goldy brown. And like I said before, they will not rise. They don't have any of the proper stuffs to rise. So do not wait for that to be the case. You will be sorely disappointed. But thankfully I have my handy dandy scooper. So we're just gonna, might end up freezing some of this for later, and just be sure to write on your baggie or whatever you choose to store your stuff in that this is a goat treat. Do not try to eat this on your own accord. I'm sure you could. Nothing in this is toxic. I don't believe it would be very tasty for human consumption. But I could be wrong. Maybe, I mean, it's not too far off from similar breakfast bar recipes I've seen. And my husband can, of course, attune to that. I have tried some very weird oatmeal breakfast bar type stuff. Oh, of course, now is when you have to get, you could have just used the towels. Dork.
I'm making your food.
Of course, cannot, you know, be in the kitchen doing a thing without somebody else doing the kitchen thing.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. Alright, so we are almost done scooping all of this. If you find parts that aren't quite mixed in, don't worry too much about it. Just kind of use your scooper dooper and just kind of remix it. I love my goats, but they are goats. Honestly, they're one bad day away from becoming freezer meat, so. The irony of the fact that we had to go out and in the boda this morning and make sure that all of the cows were okay. Our Nanny and Granddad is what we respectfully call them, live right up the hill, and we got home late last night and we did not know that Nanny had apparently successfully nailed, we'll call it that, successfully nailed 3 boar, possibly 4. Now they had already moved everything to the designated spot, but we had like 30-40 buzzards just hanging around the property, and nothing is scarier when you've got livestock than 30-40 buzzards unknowingly hovering above where your cattle are supposed to be. So of course we hopped in the boda and drove over there to make sure everything was peachy keen. Alright, I'm just going to use this little tool here to kind of smooth down the treats and make sure everything's kind of in its container to make sure it bakes as evenly as possible. I have guarded hopes, being that we're using a toaster oven. But the toaster oven has not failed me yet, and we have even managed to successfully cook chicken tenders in it because nobody felt like cleaning the air fryer that night. I'm sure somebody out there can relate to that. I mean, man, who wants to sit there and scrub at those air fryer grills? It's such a pain. All right, we're evening this out. All right, I'm gonna add just a little bit more to this pan in this pot in particular. All right. Now that you've kind of, evened them out, they're gonna look kind of like this, and we're gonna go ahead and pop them in the toaster oven. So while our muffins are in the toaster oven, we're gonna go ahead, and since we're making about 24 of these treats, we're gonna go ahead and bag the rest and freeze it. I don't want to overfeed the little fatties. So the next time that these treats, rewind a little. Once these treats are done, you can feed them 2-3 a day. Don't recommend it, but you can. Whatever you want to do. They're your goats, man. I don't know the nutritional values of any of these things. I just know that with sweet treats, that's always best in moderation. So we're gonna go ahead and bag the rest, and it'll take them a second to get through all 24 of these treats. So we'll go ahead and, like I said before, we're gonna label these bagged goat treats because it does not hurt to have a label on it. We have forgotten to label some freezer stuff and opened it up months later and immediately went, what in the world is this? I've done that with sourdough discard pancake batter, and that just about confused everybody in the house because anybody who's worked with sourdough knows it's not the prettiest looking thing. And of course, once pancake batter's been frozen for a second, it doesn't look like pancake batter. Plus, I was in the era of making some really weird stuff with sourdough, so I did not blame anybody for throwing that away. It wasn't until another month after the fact when I went to go look for pancake batter that people went, oh, is that what we threw away? Hence the new era of actually labeling our stuff. See, eventually my goal is to get one of those bag sealers. Nanny and Granddad have one up the hill, and it is Nanny's favorite thing to use, especially when she's preserving the year's crops. I think the first or second year they ever did squash, the plants just took off, and we had so many. We were having mashed squash and sliced squash and just about anything you can create with squash. And it got to a point where we're like, okay, we still have 31 squash sitting on the table. What are we gonna do? So we sliced some, we mashed some, we kept some whole for the most part, and we sealed them and threw them in the freezer. Oh no, is that a hole or? Okay, I think that's just outside. I'm gonna kind of flatten this, let some air out. Always helps to ensure that you don't get freezer burns. Let's see, try to get it into the corner as much as I can. Okay. And we'll start slowly sealing and spreading. Just slowly, as you're doing this, just kind of work the air up to the top. And then just kind of leave a corner open and just smooth it right on over. And once you get the majority of air out, you'll just have a weird little flat, truly appetizing bag of goat treats. It totally doesn't look, I mean, love, doesn't that look totally appetizing?
Totally.
Totally. And we'll go ahead and plop this in the freezer, and I will be back once the muffins are done. All right, so we are back. We've just pulled these out of the oven, so they're gonna be, or toaster oven. So they're gonna be a little bit hot, but I am impatient. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of go around them with this weird tool. I'm not honestly all that sure what it is, but it's very useful for stabbing muffins out of tins. And oh, those are cute. Woo, hot. And stirring tea. So we're just gonna kind of pop these out of here. And while I continue to burn my fingers on almost every one, because I have no self-control. That's why I have goats. It's because I have no self-control. See, we're just gonna pop them and kind of place them upside down on the counter so that the air can hit the bottoms. They're gonna be kind of squishy on the bottoms. They're gonna have that weird oatmeal that sat for too long texture. Okay, I see you. Some of these are kind of already popping out. Which I can appreciate. Always saves me energy when you can just kind of pop and roll. Now I don't think that these, you could just flip these over and kind of call it a day and have them all just like fall out, just because they are a little sticky. You do have a lot of sugar at the end of the day in these, with the peppermints, the natural sugar of the raisins, so on and so forth. So they're probably always going to be a little bit sticky. I'm gonna go ahead and move this pan over here for a moment. And then let's grab this one. This is the first one I pulled, so it's not gonna be too hot. And you'll just have these cute little, you can see them here, these cute little muffin bites, and they're gonna be a little squishy and just, you know, something a goat might enjoy. We're gonna go ahead and put a couple of these in a Ziploc bag right below me. They're gonna be hot, so it's gonna steam up the bag, but I don't really care. I am impatient and I want to see how Morgan and Badger like these little goat treats. And I might be a little sad if they don't like them, but there are other people in town that have goats and I would love to give these to them. And of course it can just be a little treat. So the toaster oven is set on a timer, so when that timer is off, it'll automatically shut off the toaster oven. I don't have to worry about it burning the house down. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and take these out into the yard and we're gonna go see how Morgan and Badger like these treats. I will see you in just a minute. All right, so we have our goat treats in a bag here. They're still a little bit warm, so I'm not sure how they'll take them like this. We've of course got Badger and Morgan right behind me. Let's see how they like these. You guys are coming with me. Oh my goodness. He's just the cutest little guy. I love Badger. He's just such a sweet boy. So they're kind of in the rock pile right now, so we're gonna be careful. Whew. Make sure we don't get any snakes. We'll feed him one more, because he's a good boy. Badger. How funny it is, the difference between a dog pile and a cow pile. Morgan, you gonna eat one, Bubby? Oh, see, he gives it a little nibble, but then doesn't officially want to. What's the word? Commit That's it. He doesn't want to commit. Oh, I see why y'all like those bushes so much. I see. So, looking a little bit closer, let me unlock my phone real quick. Looking a little closer, you can see somewhere down there, there are berries in there. So we've looked at all these, and you know, I've heard that these are berry bushes, but I've never seen them bloom. Could be that there's finally enough off of this pile here that they're starting to, but they are just destroying those briars, and I hate so much that they are so content up here. I am terrified they are going to get bit by a copperhead. All right. Well, I guess that will be all for today's video. I would just like to say thank y'all so very much for watching. I really appreciate it. There's Badger checking out the treats again. And I hope y'all appreciate. Maybe one of these days I'll post on my TikTok and see if they like the treats when they're cooled down. Well, anyways, again, thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate the time y'all took to enjoy the little bit of scenery with me and enjoy baking goat treats. Hopefully you'll join me for next time. See you next Thursday. Bye.